a great surprise for us. So I would like to go briefly about say something about my music and concerning our students. So I just make a presentation for you to let you know better how I work and to prepare us to our conversations. And I called this short presentation "Digging for Gold." So do you see this sharing screen? Okay, so the question is for me, I would like to explain you my instruments, my tools, and explain you how I work. And the title, I will tell something about this title at the end of my presentation. So we are in the situation, all of us, that we are looking for something which has worth for us, which is worthy, which has some meaning for us. And as an artist, as a composers, we are looking for some kind of gold. It could be different for every person. But as you know, it is not so easy to find a fresh river, fresh mine, and so on. So we are still in this moving process from place to place, from river to river. And as a gold digger, I am gold digger. I call myself in this situation like this, as many people. And I have my tools, I have my maps, I have my fields, I have my rivers, and some rivers are empty. So I go to the other river looking for some fresh areas. So I would start with first river from year 2012, and this river was in a long tradition, new music tradition, which is called preparation, building an instrument. Like Lachenmann said, you have to build your own instrument. I was in the great influence of this composer, and I started to make some experiments with preparations. So in the case of violin and string instruments, I start to manipulate with the sound of the instrument. The first piece I wrote with this preparation, it was a string quartet called Blind Spot, but the second one was a piece for 8 prepared cellos. And in the case of making preparation, you have to have a special ensemble. They are able to do it, they encourage you to make some experiments and so on. And I spent lots of time with my cello making some experiments. So it's here. And I found finally something like this, that you are using the wooden sticks. You are placing these wooden sticks between the strings, and in this case you have many things, many possibilities, which are interesting for me, because, you know, I'm building this preparation using my instrument and spending, I don't know, maybe 20 hours or maybe 70 hours improvising in many different ways, and at the end you will get the result. So the idea is that you have the bridge here, and from 2 centimeters from bridge you place these wooden sticks there, and as you see, we have 3 different parts of playing the string. One part is also maybe more. One part is playing behind the bridge, the other part is playing the other way, is playing directly on the bridge, between the bridge and stick, directly on the stick, and directly ordinario on this strings. And the funny thing, and it was kind of the piece of gold I found, you are avoiding this terrible situation when you have 8 cellos, you have always this empty string resonation. So see, you play pizzicato and you hear this open strings, and it is horrible. You have to say always just mute your strings and so on. In this case, the problem is solved, because it doesn't sound like this. And the other thing which is interesting, when you play on one string, the resonation from one string, so well, let's say pizzicato from 4th string, goes to all resonating instruments. So all 4 strings are resonating together, with harmonic relations. And when you press a different string from this 1, 3, or 4, you will change the chord of this pizzicato. So lots of many possibilities you have to study, and you have to precisely play to let the musicians know how the instrument is working. And when you play directly on the stick as well, you will get the whistling sound, which is you are able to manipulate this whistling sound with pressing the left hand position and so on. So that's why this preparation was for me some kind of finding the new idiomatic sound of 8 cellos. And I played all this instrument, which is a crazy idea, but I think the crazy idea is always good idea when writing music. I played this piece alone, so for 8 parts I made recordings. And from these recordings I made some models and acoustic models, and from these acoustic models I start to write the score. So preparation with, so how to say, the rehearsal time with instrumentalists, it looks like this, that you have to find the time for a separate person to make this special preparation, and you are spending, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours going piece by piece, problem by problem, and explaining it and playing together. And after that they are ready to have together the first rehearsal. So it's quite weird to work this way, but the result could be quite interesting. At the end of this piece I'm using as well the milk frother, which is bouncing on the string, and that's all what I would like to say about this first river preparation. And let's hear the short fragment of this piece. Okay, it was a short fragment of this piece. So after this river preparation and before with the string quartet, I was just I thought it's enough. I spent enough time on this river, and I go to the other one. And the solution was very easy. I started to play to use this open source pure data program, which is actually quite funny because you have it for free, and it's a great society which is working all over the world on the condition of this program, and it's quite stable, and you have lots of fun making the first first attempts of this, first experiments of this attempt. My way was to thinking, going this river of preparation of objects along, and making some algorithms which are based on very simple parameters like speed, pitch, stretching, cutting, playing backwards, filtering, granular synthesis, and so on. And when you combine all these parameters, actually basic parameters and only one basic parameters, there are not so many other parameters, you will get very weird and interesting results. And at the end, you will build the structure which has its own internal process, and is very organic, recognizable, and has always some kind of open and mobile element. So it will be quite the same, but always slightly different. And it's kind of living sculpture, so to say, from the making of sounds. And it was quite interesting for me. And the next piece I wrote, it is the piece for ensemble. The next piece in this explanation, in this presentation, I would like to show you. It's about building. I will show you the score, and we will discuss it with the score. That's the score. And when you see the beginning of it, we have two glissandos, so to say, two figures going upwards. First we start with winds, and after that we start with the strings, and they're playing different sounds and different flageolet and so on. It's kind of messy movement. And after that we have this second part of material, which is quite, how to say it, chaotic, and consists of sparkling percussive sounds, different sounds. And after that we have this element here. And the idea is you play as well MIDI controller, and in this MIDI controller part there existed some algorithms which are the virtual mirror for this element you see at the beginning. So just you see that you start the first virtual mirror, then you start the second virtual mirror for this percussive sounds, and at the end you have the small sample in this case, which is carton board moving on my desktop, and I recorded it. Actually, all the sounds here are recorded sounds from myself, from my desktop, from my room, or something else. And the problem is that you have this virtual mirror, you have the ensemble sitting on stage, the audience is looking and hearing the ensemble, but this virtual mirror is giving special additional sounds. And important thing for me, that the sounds never repeated in the same way. They're always kind of chimeric structure. So let's hear the beginning and try to hear this additional background sounds. Okay, let's go to the next to the next river, because yeah, okay. Now the next river is the instrument and the object connected as one, and of course the pure data and so on, some kind of extension, and you are gathering these tools, and after that you're able to connect these tools and making some experiments in a brighter scale, and going with your music in the different areas. In this collaboration with my great friend, hacker and so to say Renaissance man, he's playing guitar, he's painter, he's a good programmer and building these instruments, and gave me this instrument home, and I was able to via pure data playing these instruments and building some structure. And it is a funny thing because you see you have the air here going here, and you have a typical organ pipe, and here is the length of the pipe, and you are able to control the how much air is coming here, so pianoforte and some kind of overblow sounds, and the pitch itself, and of course the mechanism, the servo mechanism is as well making interesting sounds, which I will show you again. The second tile of this instrumentarium was this kind of DIY gramophone with trombone loudspeaker, so to say, in this case. And we are using, of course, playing this instrument, we are using the cap mute, so we are able to play the speed of the plate, and we are able to make some transitions, some changings in the tempo of the instrument. And the third one, it was the kind of translation loop between three handies, and they are hearing each other and making translations loop in three different languages. It was a piece, it was a homage Aaron Swartz, this hacker and genial hacker and very young man who was hacking and making some attempts to give the data, to open the data to the all people. You know, the problem was that JSTOR was buying and taking money for very interesting science articles, and the science articles should be for free. And Aaron Swartz decided to give these articles all over the world, and he was, so to say, stealing these articles. And after that, he was, they said it was a crime, and he committed a suicide as a very, very young man. He's a kind of beautiful person, and a victim of huge system problematic systems nowadays, about freedom and about data and about knowledge. The topic very interesting now, and I will show you how this instruments, in this case, working on stage, and we will hear the end of this so to say a multimedia piece, kind of video opera, and this fragment, it is the beginning of so to say requiem for Aaron Swartz, and we see a short fragment with pipe. This pipe you play via this MIDI controller.
speak history. Music. History.
Geist, Buchmachungsart. A która będzie to? Playlista.
Das niemand hat Bedenken. Choć prędzej na dwa.
Okay, so we are going to the next river. I'm quite at the end. And in this next river, I just using all the instruments I gathered before, so recordings with pipes and some mobile elements and so on and so on. And in this case, I would try to find idiomatic solutions for this statement of my work. So the new river is just a camp, and I'm sitting there and looking for the gold I gather, and I try to make something with these small particles of gold, and making a piece which is quite obvious because you are playing it with a click. It's a so-called tape music, tape with ensemble, but basically when I base on my experience with previous pieces, I try to avoid this directly tape, how to say it, that something is very fixed and very uninteresting, because tape is dominating with this material, in this material. So let's hear the fragments. I will tell you what we hear here, what we see here. There are some pipes from Aaron S recorded here, and in other cases we have the Baroque block flute here, and as well some backward plates, dialogue with wind ensemble and trumpet, and at the end we are going to the fragment of percussive sounds and some recorded radio sounds. So the speech is coming back to this fragment. So let's hear this fragment, and with the I'm quiet to the end. Okay, let's hear it. Okay, that was a short impression for our students. Probably when you have some questions, we can go back to the topics. But at the end, I would explain this Digging for Gold title because it is the piece for orchestra with samples, and I'm going to the other areas as you probably will hear. I'm trying to combine this very long laugh with to pop music. I used to hear it as a teenager and always. And now I'm trying to find the way of thinking which is quite different for the producers and composers in this area, pop music and experimental club music and so on. So I gather many samples, about 160 samples from very different artists, from Dede, the Matt Johnson from 1986. That was actually long play, which was very interesting for me. As a teenager, I used to hear it very often, and the quotation comes directly from this album, Digging for Gold, Diving for Pearls. And the idea is that there are so many people still working for pearls and still looking for pearls and looking for diamonds and so on, and you can learn a lot about concerning narration, concerning the way of thinking, composing. And now I'm aiming in this trip to the topics like automation, and we are hearing all over the world about this fun things about the creation of artificial intelligence and so on and so on. Lots of these things are really bullshit, and it is really funny to demonstrate how it works. But we are changing the way of thinking about music because we have so many people working on the similar things like we, and we have to rethink our way, why we are saying the word, because we need to say the word, but we are conscious that this word will be said by thousands of people all over the world, so we have to say it quite different, and then we have a meaning for something. Okay, so the last example, and I'm ready. It is just a piece, a fragment of the orchestra piece, which, as I told you, sounds quite different. It's a piece Digging for Gold, of course. I'm not satisfied with the recording, but the recording is just from the main microphones in the hall, so that's why we have no impression of the details in the score. But as example. Okay, and the last word, probably the next river I will name the river Big Data, because I'm thinking about my data. I have lots of data, just sketches and so on. For this piece, Digging for Gold, I wrote 2 pieces as well. I don't use this material, but I'm using it for other pieces. So each piece is gathering new material. And when you're working long for this with your own music, you are able to see what you've done. And actually all this big data needs to be analyzed, not maybe analyzed, rethink and reused. So that's my way of going further with this idea of rivers and digging for gold. So it will be everything for now, and thank you very much.